We have a very special video for you coming up today.
Yay! Our gorgeous girl Nadia from all the way over, where she live?
Australia! She's going to be giving us the best tips for fingering a lady.
Oh, it's so good because her videos are incredible. She covers a bunch of crazy sex stuff. So make sure you continue watching and listen to what she thinks is the best way to finger a girl. Maybe we'll learn something new.
Woo!
Hey guys, my name's Nadia and Florence and Reed have so kindly invited me to come and guest host on their channel. I've actually been a big fan and follower of Come Curious for a long time, and like the Come Curious ladies, I am in the sex positive space on YouTube as well. So I talk about everything from how to give a good blowjob to how to masturbate correctly, what sex toys you should think about getting, and really anything that's just in the sex positive relationship space. Chances are I cover it over on my channel. So today I thought I would come on and share with you guys one of the most popular videos from my channel, which is the topic of how to finger a woman right. So the first thing you need to do before you even go anywhere near a woman's vajayjay with your fingers is to make sure that your hands are thoroughly clean. And that's because you can so easily transfer bacteria to the vaginal area and cause an infection, an imbalance. You can do all sorts of nasty stuff. So only ever put clean hands down there. And please make sure your nails are trimmed. If your nails look anything like this, they definitely shouldn't be going inside a vagina. You need to have smooth trimmed nails, and that's because the delicate tissue in that area is so prone to tearing and cuts, and again, besides being incredibly uncomfortable, it also allows infection to get in. So keep those nails nice and trim and keep those hands nice and clean. It's a big mistake to reach straight down a girl's pants the second you start to get it on. Most women prefer to have other parts of their body stimulated first, and it also helps them get lubricated so that when you do put your fingers on down under her pants, it's going to feel really good. What I recommend before taking off any clothes or putting any hands anywhere underneath her clothing is to really passionately kiss her. There's actually been studies done that have found that women have this hormone that is released inside of us during long, deep, passionate kissing that actually triggers intense arousal. In other words, when a guy is giving us a long, slow, deep, passionate kiss, chances are our panties are getting wet. So if you really want to drive a woman wild, do not underestimate the power of kissing. It is one of the things that we tend to rush over or skip altogether, particularly when we're having casual sex or we're in a long-term relationship. We tend to let kissing slide. But as far as women go, kissing is the most effective way, even more effective than touching her pussy, at getting her wet. So focus on the kiss first, then after you've kissed her for a few minutes, you can move on down to Pussy Town. The next most important thing when you are fingering a woman is to make sure she is very, very wet. Now, if you guys think about a time when anyone has tried to give you a hand job on your penis when it's been still completely dry, it's probably been not very comfortable. Well, it's the same thing for us ladies. We need to be adequately lubricated in order for it to feel nice. Otherwise, it just feels uncomfortable and it can even feel irritating. Now, the best thing and my best tip for this is, yes, definitely have lots of foreplay so that she's getting naturally lubricated, but also to help things along, grab some lube. I personally love just good old-fashioned KY jelly because it's cheap. You can buy it from any supermarket. It lasts forever and it's generally compatible with most sex toys and most skin types. So I keep a little by the bed, and whenever I'm getting hot and heavy with someone, I just reach for the lube. It means that we can get down to business quicker, it's more comfortable for me, and also adding lubricant into the mix can make it more stimulating for the woman. And that's because that feeling of just the cool, moist lubrication hitting against your clitoris can actually feel really nice. I personally love adding lube even when I'm already naturally lubricated, so I definitely recommend grabbing some and keeping it at hand at all times. Now, one of the ways guys tend to go wrong when they're fingering a girl is that they go straight for digital penetration. In other words, they just try to put their fingers right on up inside our vagina. And again, that generally doesn't feel good for the majority of women because you haven't given us any time to warm up. Also, studies show that it's around 80% of women who need our clitoris to be stimulated specifically in order for us to even be able to reach an orgasm. That means if you're focusing most of your time on penetrating her vagina, you're not going to be very likely to get her off. If you want to make sure she has a climax, then the clitoris is where it's at for the vast majority of women. And when you're going for the clitoris, I recommend going extra gentle with your touch. Now, because the penis is generally a little bit stronger and more hardy than the vagina, you can be a little bit more rough with it. And so a lot of men make the mistake of assuming they can do the same with the vagina or the vulva. And that's simply not the case. The whole area around a woman's vagina, vulva, clitoris, all of that area, guys, is really sensitive. So any kind of really vigorous rubbing is not only going to turn us off, but it can actually cause us discomfort and pain. So what I recommend is just grabbing 2 fingers and just concentrating on that first section of your fingers here. So you don't want to be working the whole finger in, it's just this section here, and then just very gently circling them around the clitoris. And you're focusing on these top pads here. This is the softest part of your finger. So if we're imagining this is the clitoris here, you're going to be circling around very gently and softly like that. Now, a lot of guys, what they do is do this, and that actually can flick the clitoris back and forth, and for a lot of women, it doesn't feel very good. If you want to go back and forth, you can definitely do that. But what I recommend is more of a seesaw motion and keep your touch very gentle. So a seesaw motion is curving up and back down and up. So you can see I'm basically making, if I exaggerate it, I'm basically making a letter C with my fingers. So then you just make that smaller, and that's what you're going to be doing, just back and forth, back and forth. The next thing is to stick to what works. Now, a lot of guys have been given the wrong information when it comes to fingering, and a lot of you are under the impression that variety is better. No, not when it comes to the clitoris, it's not. Same is better when it comes to the clitoris. And that's because our clitoris is so incredibly sensitive. So once you find the motion, the pressure, the style that is right for that particular clitoris, whatever you do, guys, do not change it. Do not try to be crafty or fancy or work in some new moves. Just stick to that same motion. I can't tell you how many times me as a woman have had this happen, and I've spoken to so many women who have had this experience where they are so turned on and they're getting so close to climax from the guy who is fingering them, and then all of a sudden he switches up things and she loses her ability to get to orgasm town. So usually it really is going to be one of those 2 techniques I showed you in the last tip, either just gently circling around or going back and forth on the clitoris. Now, of course, your girl might like something different than those other two things, and you can definitely ask her or allow her to just tell you. But when in doubt, go to those two techniques and don't try to mix it up. Just stick on one. And the way that you're going to know that you found the right pressure and speed is by listening to her moaning. So a lot of women are quite shy about speaking up for ourselves in bed because we've been fed this whole idea that sex is dirty and shameful, and we still have that kind of idea stuck in our head. So often we don't actually speak up for ourselves in the bedroom and say, hey, that doesn't feel good, or hey, can you please do more of that? What we do instead is we moan to let you know when we're really enjoying it. So listen out for her moan, and when she starts to moan and her body starts to writhe around in pleasure, that is when you have hit the perfect pressure and speed. And then whatever you do, just don't change a thing. Just stick to it. All right, guys, those are my tips. I hope you enjoyed them, and if you did, I would love for you to head on over to my channel and subscribe. I put out videos 3 times a week covering everything from sex advice to relationship advice, and I have a new series that I've started on my channel called Tales of a Fuck Girl, where I every week recount my stories as a real life fuck girl. So I would love for you to head on over there now, check it out, and if you like what you see, then please do subscribe, and make sure if you enjoyed this video that you do give it a thumbs up. Thanks again to the Come Curious ladies for having me on their channel. It is such a blast to be here and spread the sex positivity even further. I love it when sex positive, strong, empowered women work together to spread the sex positive vibes. So thank you so much, ladies, for having me. And also, if you would like to see the ladies on my channel, definitely make sure you head on over there, because they've gone and done a video on my channel about how to put a condom on in the very most sexy way. So make sure you go and check that one out. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you later. Mwah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Nadia, for all your fingering tips.
Let us know if you really liked these collab videos.
Yeah, we want to do loads more. They're great. And we will see you next week. Please comment, like, subscribe, all of that jazz, and check out our podcast, Fucks Given, for all those juicy details when we're not here.
You do not want to miss it. Listen to it in your ears all the time. We can be with you everywhere and anywhere you want.
We can do that with YouTube.
Yeah, but it's private.
It's better on the podcast. Okay, see you next week, guys. Love you all.